canine companions, it is essential to understand their behavioral cues. This understanding creates opportunities in the market to develop tools and resources that best serve and help them to lead a very fulfilling life. In truth, this contributes to customers having a satisfactory and rewarding experience. For our next presentation, we have a unique display on understanding canine behavior to improve customer experience. I am especially honored to introduce and invite Ms. Shirin Dhabhar, founder of Canines Can Care. Ms. Shirin was my first instructor when I began my journey into dog training. And I have had the privilege of learning from her through many of her incredible courses. Since then, her expertise and passion have helped many such people like me into shaping better trainers. I would like to invite to the stage Shirin Dhabhar, founder of Canines Can Care. Shirin Dhabhar is a globally recognized pioneer in canine behavior and training with over 25 years of experience. As the only KCAI accredited trainer in India, she has revolutionized dog training in India using humane, science-based techniques. As the founder of Canines Can Care, she introduced India's first assistance dog and civilian search and rescue dogs, training over 5,000 professionals globally. Shirin has also trained army dogs in India and also in Sri Lanka. And her accolades include the First Ladies Award, awarded from the President of India, along with international recognition from her contributions to the pet industry. I invite Ms. Shirin Dhabhar to the stage to please enlighten us about dog behavior and training. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that was quite an introduction. I hope I can live up to it. All right. So I'm sure you all are all wondering what I am standing and doing over here with you all today. Okay, because everybody here is from the pet industry and dog food industry and pet shops and experts on treats and experts on accessories. And I'm just a simple lowly dog trainer. But how can I make a difference to your lives? And I think the only difference you all want me to make to your lives is improve the bottom line of your sales, right? I'm sure I'm right on that point. So today's talk is something different for you to look at, different for you to understand. And I want you to actually look at your business from the eyes of your true customer. Who is your true customer? Are you sure it's the pets? Yeah, it's not the pets who make the money and pay for it, but yeah, it is the pets. See, we think we are targeting the human beings, but I'm going to tell you who supersedes the human beings at home. How many of you have pets at home? How many of you are slaves to your pets at home? There you go. Yeah, sorry? Worse. What is worse than that? What word would be worse than a slave to your pet? Sorry? Doormat. Oh, okay. We're going down another road. We shouldn't be going down, maybe. Okay. So let's take a look at how maybe from working in the field now of dog training and behavior for over 27 years, I come with a couple of decades under my belt, maybe I could change your perspective a little bit. I hope maybe just change your line of thought by the end of our session today. What do you see? And that's the first step. Okay, the first step. I know everybody says, my furry baby, my furry darling, my son, my daughter, all of that. But you've got to understand, and I'm sure you all know that by now, dogs are canines and they're a whole different species. They're not even part of our species. So it's really interesting to me when someone says, this is my daughter and this is my son. And I'm doing a consult and half an hour later I realize the daughter is the dog and the son is the human being. And then I have to make scratches all over my notebooks. Oh, okay, we got it wrong. But today, the whole trend of pet parenting, you can't say pet ownership. Do you all know that? What will happen to you if you say pet owner on a social media site? Yeah, like Ruhi just said, you get a whack. There's some pet-loving pet parent out there So now we have to say pet parent. That's the correct terminology so that we don't offend them. But that tells us a lot about how the mindset has changed. When I started working, you had dog owners. They loved their dogs. Dogs were family, but they were dog owners. Now you're not an owner because people see that as an insult. What I want you to understand is at the end of the day, call them what you want, my baby, my darling, my Jan, my son, my daughter. But when you work with them, see them for what they truly are, which is a dog or a cat. And they're not part of our species, so don't confuse those two things. So who is the real customer? Here, we've already decided that. And I get a lot of people who will come to me, pet parents. I work with pet parents all the time. And they say, you know what? I went to the pet shop and I bought this toy and I bought this bed and I bought this. And my dog doesn't play with any of these things. And then they'll say, I bought this food and he doesn't eat this food. And I say, 1 minute. What about your dog? They say, we took our dog along. And our dog chose everything. Why would you give that choice to your dog? So they say, but my dog picked it out. What does your dog know? He's not reading packets and labels and what is inside. He's just going to say, okay, this, let's take it all. And the only person who's happy there, I must say, are the pet shop owners because they say, yeah, keep adding, go. Okay, so, but here's the thing. In reality, it is the dog or the cat that is your true customer. And how do you figure that out? And why should you figure that out if you run any pet business? Whether you're a vet, you're a groomer, you make dog food, you make dog treats, you make dog accessories, you run an online pet business, whatever you do. If you cannot understand who your true customer is, you'll do good business, but there is a difference between good business and awesome business. And knowing your true customer can change that. So it's not just about making the dogs happy and the pet parents happy, it's also improving your sales at the end of the day. You want your business to thrive. So what do I mean by this? I'm sure you all must be saying, okay, nice, but what does she mean? Give us some examples. How many of you are confused and saying, give me some examples? I cannot understand how the knowledge of knowing what a dog is will help me improve my business. I knew, Bharat, at some point you would lift your hand during my talk. Yes, tell me. Okay, I've known Bharat now, what, 30 years? Yeah, so Bharat Pitti and I go back 30 years now. So, starting with pet shops. You go into a pet shop and it's awesome today. It's not the same as it was 27 years ago. Now you see a wide range of treats and this and products and leashes and collars and colorful toys, and there's so much. And honestly, people tell me, I went to the pet shop and I didn't know what to pick. I did not know what to get for my particular dog. So I just bought a lot of stuff and came home to realize I had wasted my money. So here's what you can do. If you really want to improve the person, your customer, which is a human being, to come back, make sure when the dog goes home with those products, he's so happy with them that they cannot wait to come back to you and get more from you. But to do that, you need to know a little bit more. So what about toys? How do you all know? How many of you have dog toys here as products or have interacted with dog toys in any way and know which one works for which dog? Is it a one-size-fits-all? No? So what is the engaging? Very good point. Anything else? Okay, that's a nice point. Bharat, what about you? Okay, yeah. Sorry, somebody else was saying something, yeah? Good. You want to sustain their attention. How do you know which one works for which dog then? How would I know which dog will play with a tennis ball? Okay, so here's the thing. Let's take that a little deeper to see what we do. Okay, get to know your dogs, get to know the breeds. I'm going to tell you one thing. When you have a breed of a dog, say let's take the German Shepherd for example. The very genetics that predisposes the German Shepherd to look the way he does, predisposes him to behave in a manner what he was bred to do. What was the German Shepherd bred to do? Hunting? Wrong answer. German Shepherd. What was the dog? Thank you. Yay, well done, Bert. Okay. Okay, Ruhi, if you got that wrong, this was flying straight at you. Yeah. Okay. You've not had your coffee for today. What has the helmet got to do? Ah, no. So even better, right? Yeah. And we'll then test whether dog trainers have good aim. Do dog trainers have good aim? Okay, so coming back to it. Now, here's how I would sell a toy to a German Shepherd from my perspective. Just something for you to think about. Now, the German Shepherd loves to herd, which means herding breeds, you should know, always have their focus low to the ground, where the cattle's feet will be moving. And they get excited by anything that moves. So if you want a German Shepherd to play with an object, it's got to be something that moves. If it's something where you throw and it falls and it stays there, the German Shepherd's going to be, maybe some of them will play. But if you really want all of them to play, bring out, light up their innate genetics. You cannot go wrong on that because it's who the dog is at the end of the day. So typically with German Shepherds, we use toys like balls, things that roll on the ground, and as they move, the German Shepherd gets excited. So I'll give you an example. One of my students, she was training her boss's dog. So she got all excited one day and she said, he's got a German Shepherd. He's one of the big guys in this country. So she was excited and he said, come tomorrow, train my German Shepherd. So she took a bag full of new toys and went there. 7 in the morning, I get a call from her. He's gone, he's left me for half an hour, and he said, when I come back, my dog should play. And she said, he's not playing, what do? I'll lose my job. I said, what toy are you using? And she said, I'm using a Kong toy. I said, a Kong toy with a German Shepherd will not bring out the innate instinct. I said, put the Kong toy away and take out a ball. And the dog started to play. Now, how about when somebody comes in and tells you they have this dog, you tell them which toys to choose. You can say, these toys could excite your German Shepherd, and why not give that a shot? And what you might see, and I'll tell you what, why this doesn't go wrong is because it's the genetics. You cannot go wrong with the genetics of a dog. What about gun dogs? Fetch, what else? Sounds, okay. Anybody else? What would excite any of the, so gun dogs would have your Labradors, your Golden Retrievers, your Weimaraners, your Vizslas, Cocker Spaniels, all come into this category. Squeaky toys may not be for this breed. You're just hoping one gets correct. All right. Okay, now what you've got to understand, again, see what the dog was bred to do. Gun dogs used to go out hunting alongside man, and then man would get all the birds to fly in the air. He'd shoot some bird, poor thing would fall. A gun dog has excellent visual memory. These dogs will see something fall. I can actually take that dog after he's seen it, put him in the car, come back after 6 hours, set him up, and he will run straight to that spot. So for them, if I throw a tennis ball, and he thinks it's fallen there, but the tennis ball is rolled, you lose the gun dog. They get very frustrated. So it's preferably got to be a lot of hide-and-seek games for these dogs. So use objects that when they are thrown, so tell the pet parent, throw it behind a sofa, and make sure wherever you've thrown it, it stays. It doesn't roll about. On the other hand, if you threw something in an upward trajectory for the German Shepherd, he'd just be lost. He's like, where's it gone? He'd just be lost. All right? So be careful about that, because sometimes people will come and say, this is such an expensive toy, and I bought it, and my dog's not playing. And I look at it, and I say, who sold this to you? They say, well, somebody sold it to me. And I say, wrong toy for your dog. So they say, what do I do with it? I said, I don't know. Put it at the back of your cupboard and go get another toy. So it's good business for you all as pet shops, but maybe not to keep your customers very happy. What about terriers? Sorry? Tug toys? No, terriers were bred actually to hunt. Squeaky toys, very good. They were bred to hunt rats. They're ratting dogs. So what really excites a terrier the most is something squeaking away. My God, you can get a terrier to sell his mother for a squeaky toy. But in any case, you all should know by the age of 8 weeks, they depart in any case. But a terrier will sell you for a squeaky toy any day. And you'll notice it squeak, squeak, squeak. When the squeak dies, which means the toy has died as such, and the squeaker falls out, they lose interest. So be very careful. So see, just knowing this little bit can change how you use toys for your dog. And now we come to our wonderful topic where I see total confusion, is puppies. Puppies are some of the biggest market for pet shops. And when a puppy starts chewing, the first thing the owner goes to the pet shop and says, I need toys so my puppy can chew on the toys, and he leaves my sofa alone. And I say, okay, so what toys did you buy? So we said, we bought rubber ring, rubber ball, rubber bone. Now here's what you have to know. If you know a little bit about dogs, you should know when puppies chew, it is to explore the world around. So they're chewing for taste and texture. When you buy everything made out of rubber, it's not going to satisfy the puppy. He's just going to think it's all one thing. And then you'll again have maybe a dissatisfied customer. So the best thing is remember a variety of tastes. So textures and tastes. Something rubber, something wood, something cloth maybe. Different things so that the puppy gets satisfied. And with that, the puppy will stop chewing up your home. Again, leading to, as I will keep repeating, a happy customer. And what does happy customer lead to? Thank you. Now, this is something controversial, and I bet I'm not going to be popular after today for saying this. How many of you know of these pet deterrent sprays that actually work? Okay, nobody. All right. I presume nobody's making them here. Otherwise, at least one hand would have gone up. So here's the thing. If you have any spray that is like a pee deterrent spray or a chew deterrent spray, and it has anything that's a strong odor to it, I guarantee you it is going to fail. If it's got a foundation of any ammonia, hydrogen peroxide, any of that, it is going to fail. And just to understand why it's going to fail, I can tell you that, is understand how a dog smells. If I was cooking biryani in this room, what would you all smell? Biryani, right? But if there was a dog sitting in this room, he would smell every little part that goes into the biryani. So he'd say, there's rice, there's potato, there's maybe chicken, there's this masala. A dog's nose breaks up odors. So now visualize this. You have the smell of urine on the floor. You put another strong smell on top. The dog's not going to like it. His nose, see, to our noses, we just take the strong smell on top. But to his nose, he gets the other smell of his urine and this horrible smell. So what most of them say is, well, we don't like this bad smell on top. Let's go pee back on top. Which is why, unless you know that, most of these cleaning solutions will not work. So you've got to find a way to make one which the dog does not see as an alien odor, because most dogs don't like that and they will pee back on top. And here's the thing. Now coming to that whole topic of collars and leashes and harnesses, how many of you think a harness is a kinder tool than a collar? No opinions here? Anybody thinks that a harness is better than a collar? Yeah, go on. Do you think a harness is better? Excellent. All right. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what tool you're using, but if you're using a harness, it has to be designed keeping the dog in mind. You know, when I work with behavior issues, one of the main things I've been seeing in the past, I would say 6 years now, hugely, is stress levels going up in dogs and cats. Hugely high levels of stress, high levels of cortisol affecting behavior issues. And one of the causes that people cannot understand, and is the cause of it, is a harness for the dog. An ill-fitting harness can cause pain, can cause discomfort, which can give a rise to the cortisol levels in the dog, and that can make things worse. So how should a harness be fit? Any harness that cuts across the shoulder. Shoulder is where the movement comes. If your harness cuts anywhere here, you're causing discomfort. Dog's not going to be comfortable. Any harness that has a strap going under the armpit is not ideal for the dog. It's chaffing the armpit every step of the way. So avoid harnesses that cut through movement in any form whatsoever. So if you do have a pet shop and you're next going to buy harnesses, buy certain harnesses that clear movement. So I want a harness that does not impede the shoulder movement of the dog. So as the dog moves, the full shoulder should be allowed to move, and the harness should not cut it at any point in time. So you see, that is the correct style. So the H harnesses, Y harnesses can be good designs, but these harnesses actually harm the dog. And what is the long-term harm here? Every day the dog goes for a walk on this. He's going to be in pain. What do you think happens with long-term pain? Change in the movement, change in the behavior, and slowly you'll change the posture of the dog as well. And everybody thinks harness is kind. Yes, it can be, but choose the right fit and the right design. Now we come to vets. Any vets left here? I believe everybody went home. Oh, we have one vet here. All right. How many of you have even heard of something in India called low-stress vet visits? How many of you have traveled abroad and know that that's so common in veterinary facilities abroad? Anybody knows that? You do. Okay. And I'm surprised why we do not do this in India. Okay? Everybody thinks just because we want to treat the animal and want to help the animal, any form of treatment is good enough, and it doesn't matter what experience the pet has at the end of the day. Tell me something. If you went to the dentist, how many of you like going to the dentist? Anybody likes going to the dentist? Anybody hates going to the dentist? Oh, quite a few good hands are coming up at the back. Right. So that lovely young lady at the back who put up her hand, right, you already don't like your dentist. Next time you're going to the dentist and you're talking to the dentist and suddenly this big burly man comes up from behind you, swings you off your knees, flings you onto the dentist's chair, then pins you down with his elbow, forcibly opens your mouth, and then the dentist does the treatment. How many of you would think, yeah, that sounds like good fun? Yeah, I think she's saying, yeah, I think. You want to torture someone that way. How many of you would enjoy that? We don't think twice about doing it to animals at the vet clinic, but they're swung up, suddenly flung on the table, pinned down, treatment done to them, then, good boy, go home. And then we just hope that when they go home, nothing goes wrong. Okay? I think the time has come for India to move forward, to understand a bit about behavior. And I think the first step is taken by a very good pioneering doctor, Dr. Pawan at the Cessna Lifeline in Bangalore. And he, in tandem with me, is training his entire staff of 120 people so that Cessna can become a low-stress animal hospital. And the results we have seen are just absolutely brilliant. But again, it means that the vets go through training. They have to understand body language. They have to understand behavior. And in multiple cases, Dr. Pawan has told me, it has saved a dog's life. Just knowing a bit about behavior. Okay? He had one of his patients was an indie dog who got paralyzed on both front legs. And eventually he realized it had nothing to do with the dog's health. It had to do with the dog's behavior. And changing that around got the dog back on its feet. Okay. Which means when I work with vets, I always ask, do you know what a biting dog looks like? How many vets typically you think get bitten by dogs? Sorry? All. That's a heartening number. Okay. All. Yeah, you know, interestingly, when I talk to vets and I say, great, guys, how many of you have been bitten by a dog? All hands go up. I say, how many of you take it for granted you're going to be bitten by a dog? All hands go up. And they're just laughing, having tea and thinking, right, tomorrow maybe I'll get bitten again. But goodness, you don't have to get bitten by dogs all the time. It's not needed. It's not done. And so the first thing I ask them is, do you know what a dog who's going to bite you looks like? How many of you would say, I would know that? Anybody knows that? Great. Good. Please put up your hands nicely so I can keep a track of yours. Nice. Well done. Which of these pictures, so we'll take a nice poll here from everybody. Out of these pictures, which of these dogs looks like it's going to bite you and which is not going to bite you? Let's go. First one. Biting dog? Yes? Okay, put your hands up if you think this dog's aggressive. Okay. Second dog. Last one, you think? Yeah, we're getting there. How many of you think this second dog will bite you? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hands. 13 out of how many are we here, maybe? Think about it. What about the third one? Sorry, I didn't hear somebody at the back. Third one? Okay. And what about the fourth one? You're saying fourth? How many of you say none of these are going to bite other than the first one? Anybody else says that? All the dogs. Yours is sitting next to Anand, that's right. Joking. Okay, all these 4 are going to bite you. You're seconds away from being bitten by all 4 dogs. It's a scary thing, isn't it? To know that, ooh, okay. It's not a very nice thing to know. And that's the problem, see? If you don't know this, it could mean the difference between staying safe and getting bitten. Something to think about. Do it for your safety at least. Okay, so low stress vet visits. This is what a stressed out cat looks like. And that's a cat we worked with at Cessna. We're doing the full towel wrap. We're doing a CER, which is called a condition emotion response training, which is very powerful. And with most of the fractious cats who came there during our training period, we were able to get them to be calm without any sedation. And what would have taken 20 minutes to treat the animal took no more than 5. Okay, and no fighting. So the vet is happy, the vet doesn't get bitten. The animal is happy, goes back happy. And the pet parent is happy because their animal did not have stress. It's worth thinking about. And now these are actually about the animal hospital. So when animals have to stay there. Any of you been in a hospital long term here? Anybody? Ruhi has. You have. Okay. How stressful was your hospital stay? Horrible. Why was it horrible? Depressing. Okay. How many of you would like it when you're sick, you're recovering from a surgery, there are loud sounds being made, you're looking at another animal on the table. How stressful would it be for you? Say, supposing I put you into an ICU, all of you today, take you and put you into an ICU bed, all right? And in the bed next to you, there's somebody who's dying. How wonderful would that be for you? Think about it. You'd hate it, right? You'd be like, oh God, what is going on here? But we don't give a second thought that the animal could be going through that as well. So give this a, what we did here is, these were kennels for the pets that were recovering from a small surgery, and they were facing right the operating tables. So I said, well, we're not able to change that, but can we cover? And you should know one thing about cats. Just cover their eyes, cover their kennels, cover their crates where you carry them, and they will be at peace. You never carry a cat in a carrier open to a vet clinic, never. Take a towel, cover the animal fully. It'll just make the whole experience a lot more peaceful for the cat. And cats, you should know, when scared, when frightened, want to hide. And so we showed them cost-effective ways to make little hiding spots for cats. And this kitten, who was poor little thing going through a drip, immediately found comfort in that. And what the vets realized is, by doing this, an animal that would stay post-surgery for a week went home in 2 days. So again, better service, everybody happier, animal recovers faster, all over better experience. And on the note of that, we look at grooming. Okay. Anybody here does grooming? Okay. All right, good. So we have 2 hands going up for grooming. Most groomers, I notice, once the animal comes in, are so focused on what they're going to do, they forget to ask the animal, hey, are you okay with what we're going to do to you? You put the animal on a metal table, all the nails come up because it's trying to balance itself. Small changes. I'm not asking you to change your whole life or your whole business. Small changes can mean the difference between a happier animal, an easier process, and then a returning client, which eventually translates to everything that y'all are waited here till 4:34, better sales. Correct? Yes, see, some of you are saying yes also. Okay, so something you'll need to know about grooming tools. I've noticed people don't think twice. There's a dog, he's wet, suddenly they take a dryer and they're going purr in his face, and the dog's going, oh, I'm so scared, what is going on? Okay. Another thing, loud, noisy clippers, loud, noisy nail cutters maybe, or whatever, jars the animal. And the most important thing is, when you're not using any electronic tool, turn the switch off. If there is a cat on the table and you've put a pair of clippers on the table and it's not being used, but the electrical current is coming, the cat can feel it, and that stresses them out. Just knowing these small things can make a big difference in whether that cat 5 minutes later is going to scratch your face or not. So this is my student. Her name's Adrija. She runs a business called Post-Truck, and she does something that we teach, very easy to teach, called consent training. And what you'll see here is a video of her own dog, Gabbar, and she actually learned it from me because she got frustrated because blood draws with the dog were a problem. The dog used to fight, started to snarl at vets. It started to become a big headache. So she started to teach consent work. And what you'll see here is this. Simply put, we have taught the dog, when you put your chin either in my hand or on the table, it means you are ready for the process. When you take it off, it means you're uncomfortable and I'll stop. It's as simple as that. Just allowing an animal that little bit, just to choose that little bit. Hey, I'm not okay. Can you stop for that 2-3 seconds? Yes, we will. So watch what happens. Oh, we went to the next one. It's okay, Ruhi. If anybody wants to learn this, I'm more than happy to send you a little tutorial on how you can do it. It's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. And if it's going to make a difference in the life of an animal, I'm happy to teach you. Okay, yeah, because it's on the hard disk. Okay, next we come to our last category. As I've seen in the last presentation, India's largest growing category, dog treats, dog food, big business, big sales. How many of you in this category know your true customer? Come on, put your hands up, you should. No. How many of you are into the dog treat or dog food category here? There you go. Right. Now keep your hand up if you say you do know your customer. Okay. Right. Only one person said, I know my customer. Right. When we work with dogs as dog trainers, one of the biggest problems we struggle with in India are finding dog treats that work for dog training. Okay, and I'd really love if somebody who made dog treats just came and talked to us and said, hey, what are you all looking for exactly? Because then what we typically tell people is, you can't use that for training. No, you can't use that for training. Can't use that for training. And we actually have to discard a lot of options because of that. So what we want is soft treats. Highly tasty, of course. So please, when you're looking at dog training treats, I would say don't focus so much on health, focus on taste. Because it's got to be enticing for the dog to want it enough to listen to you. Okay? Anything, those are those hard biscuits, we don't use in dog training at all. We don't use for behavior work, we don't use for training work. Because what we do when we work with a dog, we do quick repetitions, and if it's going to get stuck in the throat, it's no good for us. We want to work the animal fast. So it's got to be soft treats like you see over there. Anything soft, easy to break, palatable, can be swallowed quickly. Those are treats we look for. And now on the topic of dog food. I'm just going to keep this slide, not show dog food. How many people come to dog food companies and say, my dog liked your food to begin with, but now doesn't? You hear that? Good. One honest person. Good, good to hear. Is there anything wrong with your food? No. And I'm going to give you that answer. Nothing wrong with your food. It's how you are feeding that food that needs to change. I cannot read from here, Ruhi. Thank you. One blind person to the next. Okay, we're nearly done in any case. Okay, so here's what I would say. Make the mealtime interesting. Make it about mental stimulation. How about at the back of your dog food bag, with every different bag, they get a different method of how to have fun with the food that they're feeding their dog. If you just put the food in the bowl and expect the dog to enjoy it, I'm sorry, not a lot of them are going to enjoy it. That's not triggering their natural instincts of how they would eat in nature. How about making it a bit of a hide and seek game with the food? So same food, don't change your quality. Make it a bit of a hide and seek game. How about using it with a mental stimulation toy? How about doing scatter feeding one day? Give people these options, and what they'll come back with and say, oh wow, now he likes the food all over again. So it wasn't the food, it was how it was being fed. How many of you feel the same way? If your food is packaged nicely and it looks good, how many of you like to eat it? Give me an example. A pasta plate. Okay. Any other food that you all think looks pretty, is engaging to eat? How many of you would like to do that? How many of you eat those breakfast cereals where you have to find a puzzle and do all of that? Yeah. Give it a thought. It's simple mental stimulation done at meal times. Keep your food. There's nothing wrong with your food, nothing wrong with its quality. Just change the way the dog is being fed, and the food will become interesting all over again. Okay. And that brings me to the point, because all of you are going to say, all this is very well, but it's so much more effort. We're already so tied down. How much more time we have to put in? I'm going to say, actually, when you do this, you'll notice it happens in 1/10 the time than what you are currently putting in time and effort for. But you've got to give it a try. You've got to be bold enough to take the next step and give it a try. And if you want to learn how to do that, I'm happy to give a chat with you and just give you a couple of ideas to get you started. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is what we want to do. We want to be smart, not just work hard and then not understand why your products are not selling, why the dog liked your stuff but doesn't like it anymore. It all comes down to knowing your true customer, which is, of course, the dog or the cat. Okay? Because if a dog or cat is happy, then the human being is happy. And if the human being is happy, they release their wallet strings, which means you are happy. Are we right? Are we going in the right order? I think so. Yeah, that's the bottom line of today's conference, I think. Okay. So you must understand, in a nutshell, you don't need to even talk to me if you don't want to. Just figure it out. Read a book. Go online. Do a bit of research on your customer, the dog, and figure out how his mind works, and then try to customize your products to him. Don't expect him to customize himself to your product. Do it the other way around, and you will see a big change. And with that, we are done for today. Remember, at the end, it's really about getting your business to thrive by making the dog and the pet parent happy with small, tiny changes worth giving a try to. Thank you all for being quite an engaging audience, I must say. Very interesting audience as well. I hope you enjoyed it and found a bit of it useful. Maybe one little thing you all might take away today, right? Yes, no? That's a very lukewarm yes, but okay, I'll settle. All right. Thank you all again.
Do any one of you have any questions for her? For Shirin ma'am? Are there any questions? Yes.
What was a bulldog bred to do? Baiting bulls. So what they love to do is exercise their jaws. So maybe sturdy, big toys that actually, but remember, nothing hard. So I don't want anything hard like a wood toy or anything. It must be something that is a bit of a give. Like a Kong would be a great. Because if it's very hard, they'll actually like break their teeth on it because they'll really go with that pressure. So if the pressure can be taken by the toy a little bit and has a bit of a give to the texture, then the bulldog would like that. You're welcome. Indie dogs. Again, it depends. Most of them are mixed breeds. So see what your dog has. That's a good place to start, guys. Person comes to your pet shop with a dog. Try and take a look. What could be the breeds? And then basically based on that, suggest treats, suggest food, suggest toys, suggest everything. We haven't even covered the topic of dog beds, but there are certain dog beds that you should not be keeping at all for dogs. Thank you.
When you talked about the recommendation of toys, you were mentioning about the breeds, what they are meant for, and my question to you is that the genetic memory, it's not actually proven that it transfers from one particular generation and to other one, and mostly towards the adapted memory is what works well, right? So can we not go with the adapted memory and accordingly the toys or maybe food or whatever can be
Okay,
given,
so I'm
right?
going to tell you that the genetics of the behavior of the dog for what it was bred to do is still there in the breeds we see today, even if the breed was created about 800 years ago, because it's genetics. The very genetics that make a German Shepherd look the way he does, which means it's come down all those 800 years, the same DNA strand will have those behaviors predisposed to it as well. And because you don't know what adaptive behaviors could be, a good starting place could be genetic behaviors. You can build from there if you want to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we're done.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shirin Dhabhar, for the much needed insights on pet behavior. I am sure that your words are going to influence and inspire everybody in the pet industry to thrive more. I